I'm Mark Stewart from, yes, the beach. Bubble Guy is still active on the pier. It's beautiful. I want to speak about why sector-based labor rules are not even appropriate to a sector. The sector that is in contention in California is the, quote, fast food sector. So the bill that has been passed by the legislature restricts it to employees of franchises that have 100 or more outlets nationwide. So big and even medium. They have decent revenue. They might be able to absorb the extra probably $100,000 to $150,000 a year that a mid-size franchise will have to pay in labor costs. Okay, 100 to 150. Well, when your revenue is $3 million a year, doable, not easy, and that's why they're fighting it. But what if you are a small place and you're not one of these large 100, but you have also unskilled workers that you do employ at a lower wage? You think they're going to stay with you? If they do, you're going to have to pay them probably at or very close to that wage that the McDonald's has been forced but now is paying to its employees. So, hello to $22, soon to be $24 per hour. With overtime, that rate is $36 per hour. Why would an employee, not skilled, but knows something about restauranting, stay at the mom and pop employer? The mom and pop employer, maybe their revenue is only $700,000 a year. And now, paying a staff of 6 to staff things, let's say they just do breakfast and lunch, they're not even full-time, okay? They still have 10 hours a day, 300 days a year to staff and therefore pay another probably $100,000 out of their income. They can't survive, not when their revenue is only 7. And therefore, this is not the fast food sector in play. I would call, if you call it a sector at all, it is the sector of unskilled work. Unskilled service work that in even one sector, fast food, easy to pick on, is automatically expanded across the board. That kills small businesses. When you see signs saying save local restaurants, they mean it. The McDonald's franchisee will still survive. They won't give the best of hours. They will cut down on the hours that they're available to serve us, because why stay open until 10 p.m. when you can't make the money back? You're going to close at 7:30. So much for getting your food if you're working late. And this won't just stay with restaurants, because the not-so-skilled cashier, food store stocker at Vons, Ralph's, Safeway, don't you think they, looking at what they could get at McDonald's, will move their way or demand to stay at equally high pay? So at equally high pay, there goes your grocery stores as conveniences until 10 p.m. as well. Those same grocery stores, those convenience marts, they're going to cut their hours and serve us less. How can America, a rich country, still have the services that a rich country deserves to have? Cut the costs of people who don't earn a lot. The cost of living, and there the term living wage is not right, but the cost of living is so brutally high on people whose skills don't let them command $30 and $40 an hour. You can do this with land use codes that would allow buildings to be bought or rented at much lower rates. California is the epitome of land use badness there is along this strip, thin strip along the coast, only multi-million-dollar homes. Okay, the cheapest shack is worth close to $3 million from Palos Verdes all the way up to Santa Monica. Okay, and there are plenty of decent 3, 4, 5-bedroom homes that are worth $10 to $15 million with a neighbor right next to them too. Inland, where there's not as much demand, the costs are still very high. And why? Because they don't allow building even far from the coast in areas that are very livable. They don't allow extra units on 1 acre or half-acre lots. If the land use allowed this, people's rental costs, people's owning costs would be much, much lower. And here, California should take a page out of some East Coast wisdom. Here in California, there's almost no buildings that are more, for residents, that are more than 3 stories high. Okay? That's what creates sprawl. And it creates the inability to build on a per unit basis inexpensively. The builder who has permission to have an 8-story building will have plenty of takers. Just look at New York. Is New York too dense? People aren't killing each other. People are able to still flock to Central Park. People are able to get places very easily. Transport in New York is a no-brainer. And most East Coast cities have elements of that. California refused. A few reasons in the history for that. But it is time for a change. Whether it is coastal or inland, having the multi-story buildings, it's not too dense, would allow developers to build that lower cost housing that will make a huge difference in everyone's lives. I'm Mark Stewart Greenstein. Thanks for paying attention to really important civics. Have a good weekend.